Who is Eileen Lasker?
People see my names, they think I'm either white or I'm married to a white.
It's another very exciting moment with a very, very special guest.
So I grew up in a place called Kinango. I don't know that you have heard anything about Kinango.
I have had
Pronunciation. There's river, there's liver. I mean, I never heard something like that.
If you want to become a pilot, you speak to a pilot.
So during the circle when I was 23, what that did for me was to instill the discipline of saving.
If you want to become a billionaire, speak to a billionaire.
You know, I told some guys I come from the village market. I said, no, not village market, real village.
And if you want to be financially free, listen to this conversation that we're just about to have.
When you commit, you commit. You don't even touch this. Man. Just like you don't touch your pay. So I knew that's not my place.
Yes.
Because there was so much idle time. I guess there were peak seasons for the corporates when they're doing the AGMs and the like. But there was a lot of, too much time in your hands.
Yes.
So I did a part-time study. I did a postgrad diploma. During that time, I was running the business. I've always, I think, been very busy. And I got a new job. And the new job was demanding. It's a real job now.
You moved from government to
Pride Africa.
Pride Africa.
Which was one of the leading microfinance organizations in the region.
Yes.
The branches in Kenya, in Uganda, Tanzania, I think Malawi, Zambia. So it was a sizable microfinance led by an American. And that was my real exposure now to the world of business, the strategy, the system, the structures. I would say I felt I was gainfully engaged as an employee. Yeah. But then I closed my business. I lost the business because there was no time.
There was no time.
There was no time at all to do anything.
To keep knitting.
Even to keep an eye. I was not even knitting that time. There was no time. I wasn't knitting actually already. I had stopped knitting. Yeah. Because I hired someone. There was a machine. They were doing it.
To do the knitting.
I could just simply maybe do quality control.
Automated.
Yes, I automated the. Oh, yeah, that's a nice way to look at it. I automated the process from manual to a more mechanical process. Yeah. But there was no time to actually, provide oversight and do the marketing and all that. And yes, I focused on my career, and I thrived. I first made a job that was completely challenging for me, and that was tapping on what I thought were the skills I had. Yeah. And because the business was growing so fast, there was so much room for growth as long as you had what it takes. Yeah. And the interesting bit about that is that I started working with entrepreneurs, because then your clients,
Pride Africa.
Yes, your clients are small business owners. Yeah. And so there was a lot to learn from them, including what to do and what not to do. I could see how they would borrow a small loan, do something. The next time they're borrowing a bigger loan, I was like, this looks it's growing faster than my salary. These guys are growing faster than my salary. Sometimes they came to borrow, you're thinking, man, should I even be the officer here? They're doing pretty well. And I started feeling like, remember I had a taste of my little business. Yes. So I think that entrepreneurial spirit started like nagging me then, like maybe you're meant for this. But then alongside that, there was this thing or restlessness I had around being employed and especially doing regular stuff. Yeah. I felt like I was made for more meaningful work. I felt like there was a bigger thing. I joined as a credit officer. And I left as a branch manager.
Oh, okay.
And the reason for
how
leaving,
long were you there?
It's 2 or 3 years. I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, I was there for a sizable, I think that's where I stayed most. Yeah. And the reason I left, I just felt like this process of lending, people repaying, it became monotonous. I'm like, what difference are we? Then the business are growing, but is this what it's all about? And I felt like I was being called to a more deeper, meaningful work, but I didn't know what it was. I just thought there was something I needed to do to change people's lives, to impact people's lives differently besides money. And that's what now ushered me into the world of international NGOs, trying to work with communities, trying to, make visible difference, not just to individual who is growing their business, but to people who are a community, like a society, like a bigger societal change. And I attempted that for a couple of years. So I moved from there, I went to, then it was called ITDG. Now it's called Practical Action. Then I moved to PACT. Then I moved to...
You were moving?
Yes, SNV, Netherlands Development Organization, which was my last employer actually. Yeah. But why was I moving? Some people, people think it's money, and of course I got better pay for each of the leaps I made. Yeah. But I was seeking for meaning. Yeah. And I landed on coaching, and I'm like, this sounds interesting.
Oh, okay. Now it gets, the plot thickens.
Yes, like, this is interesting. And I landed on coaching because I was looking for help hires. I was trying to find out.
So where were you at the point where you were connecting now to coaching? Which organization are you working with?
I was with actually Practical Action, my third job.
That's PACT?
No, Practical Action was ITDG.
Oh, okay.
That's the time I was like, I'm looking for something, but I don't know what I'm looking for. So can I get someone to help me figure this out? Yeah. And what was interesting is everyone I spoke to told me, you can change your job. But I wasn't really looking for changing the job. I was like, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? What's my calling? Whenever I get into a job, I do it so well. And every time I'm leaving, it's a difficult conversation. Yeah. Regrettable loss. Yeah. But I wasn't happy. Yeah. I was looking for something. Yeah. And so I talked to friends, and I get tired of people are not understanding what I was saying because they thought I was doing very well. Yeah. And so I decided to read books, and in one of the books I come across coaching, and I'm like, oh, career coaching. This is what I want. I need a career coach. But obviously there was no one who was in that lane.
So you discovered coaching through a book?
Yeah.
Wow. Which book is it?
I can't remember. It's just one of the many books.
It just happened.
It's just one of the many books I read. I'm like, oh, there's these things. So I started looking for a career coach, and I couldn't get. And I remember saying, if there are no coaches, why don't I become?
You couldn't find a coach?
There was not such a word. The coach they had was coaching for people who are struggling with a subject or coaching in sports. But this career coaching, then the way I read it in a book, is about discovering your, I still remember it was about discovering, your skills, your passion, and the opportunities available, and aligning accordingly. And I was like, this sounds like...
This is
sounds like what I'm talking about. Yeah, it sounds like what I'm talking about. Yeah. And the book was clear that the career coach, the coaches didn't just work with people who were struggling. They also worked with guys who were high performers, who were looking for meaning and needed to keep raising the bar for their own, for their own growth. And I thought, I'm this particular category of people who are high achievers, high performers, but they just need to keep raising the bar and having clear focus on where they're going. Yeah. And I knew that's what I needed. Yeah. So that I could get, I was like, I want to do this. So instead of looking for a coach, I decided to look for a school to train me to become a coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was a moment that is very interesting for us.
It's an inflection point in your life.
Yeah, it was. It was.
A lot of people that are listening to this and will be listening to this, you met them through coaching. Me being one of them.
You being one of them,
me being one of
you being one of them.
One of your disciples in coaching.
I know, thank you so much. You know, when you talk about that, I can see the connection. Actually, the kindergarten girl, you can tell she was little known. She knew no one, in this town. Yes. But I think coaching has really helped me grow a very solid network of leaders and friends while at it. Yeah. Because of the nature of because coaching is a relationship. Yes. It's about being a sounding board. It's about providing thinking space for people to figure out things by themselves. Yeah. Through all the skills, the skills that we learn, the listening, the questioning, the being able to evoke awareness. And I think those are very deep moments of connection. So what you build, then you end up building all this big network of lovely.
It's a relationship you cannot run away from.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's too deep.
It's very deep. It's very, very deep. Yeah.
Which year was this? Sorry, I'm big on time.
I know. I started that in 2006. I know that very clearly because I was expecting my last born.
Okay.
And who is now turning 17 in July.
Wow.
So we call him our coaching calendar. Because every time he turns a year, like, oh gosh, I've been doing this for this long.
Yeah.
Including that, of course, the expectancy time. So, so 17 plus 1, that makes it 18. So I've been doing this now for 18 years. Of course, I got to know about the concept of coaching in 2004. Then there was the study time, and obviously with all the people telling me this cannot work. Actually, I had a very interesting moment with my husband one time. And I was telling the way I'm thinking, I need to invest in this, open a business. I want to start and do it formally, because I was doing it very informally with friends initially. And him telling me, sweetie, if this thing could work, imagine it would be happening in Kenya already. Knowing Kenyans.
It should be here already.
It should be here already. The fact that nobody's doing it, please don't leave your job, And I had a good job by all means. And very upward moving, But I could feel deep down, this is what I want to do. So
something
I didn't
was
tell
calling
him,
the Kinangop girl.
And I said, what if that person is going to be me? And that's why I ended up in training, and now officially kicking off the journey without as a full-time coach. In 2006, November 17, is when I signed off the list for the office.
That's important, because you couldn't identify any coaches.
And if they were there, I didn't know where they were. Maybe the world was possibly not as connected as it is today. So you couldn't go Google, you couldn't go, so we were relying on going to a cyber then and checking. I can't remember how life was then. So maybe they were there, but I didn't know about them, because even when in 2009 I was profiled for top 40 under 40 because of coaching, I didn't see anyone else. Of course later then we started now seeing more other emerging coaching businesses.
So you stood out as the person who will represent coaching, because you couldn't find anyone. There was a vacuum.
There was a vacuum. There was an opportunity.
There was an opportunity.
But it wasn't as simple. It's not those ones you grab quickly.
No.
It was a very slow emerging opportunity. Unfolding. And that required a lot of sacrifice. Because initially, honestly, there are moments I asked myself, in fact, I thank God for pregnancy at that time, because maybe I would have gone back to look for a job, but still when you're expectant as a lady, it's the wrong time to go knocking doors. But also deep down,
you had time.
Deep down, I was like, this thing must work. This thing, I had such a conviction. When I look back, it wasn't my conviction bias. Because I'm so privileged that what I do is a calling. It's a ministry. It is a business, it's a hobby, it's a lifestyle. So I count myself very lucky that God chose to use me to actually land this whole wonderful, amazing professional of unleashing people's potential through me.
So you found your purpose.
I found my purpose.
You found your purpose. And that's what you had been looking for by moving from one place to another. That
thing, that itch, the itch that nobody could. I've been doing this for 17 years now. And I don't see myself moving to another career. Maybe it's doing something different with coaching, because this has become a lifestyle for me.
Wow. Coaching is a place we really need to dwell, because I believe it's a very, it's where you spend most of your active life in. So let's start from the beginning. So how do you start a coaching business? And I'm sure others are thinking about what did you have to go through?
I think one of the things that is so important is getting trained properly. Not the two. It's a whole profession by itself. Nobody becomes a doctor.
How did you start your coaching business?
The training of the business.
The coaching.
So first I trained.
Yes, you trained.
Then I actually.
Who trained you?
I went to different schools in the US.
Okay. So you left the country to go and learn about this thing that you bumped into in a book.
It was a hybrid kind of an arrangement. So there's one school that I attended that was purely it's called distance learning. It was my starting point, but it wasn't even ICF accredited by that time. And I didn't know about ICF. Nobody had told me there is a regulator that regulates this thing called coaching. Then I went to Center of Executive Coaching. I did my certification there as well. Went to Workplace Coaching Institute to learn about coaching in organizations. So I've done different certifications just to equip me both for the working with corporates, working with leaders.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if I've answered your question.
So you first of all, you trained.
You need to equip yourself. You cannot go and open a clinic and say you're treating if you're not a doctor. You know.
You became certified.
I became certified. As an executive and leadership coach, as a workplace coach, as a career coach. So I have many different certifications. I mean, there are many, and I continue doing that until now. Yeah.
What is an executive coach?
You know, in fact, I'll first and remove the word executive and just say coaching.
What is coaching?
It's really about providing space for people to unleash their greatness. It's about igniting greatness in people. That's why I summarize it. Because the greatness is always there, instilled by God, regardless of where the profile of the person is, regardless of their age, regardless of their gender. The greatness is always there. But the way life is structured, many times you need a mirror to know you have it. So the coach provides that mirror for you to see yourself for who you are, and also helps you to sort of go into yourself and see how much resourcefulness God has instilled or infused you with. So it's about that. Everybody has greatness.
Because discovering self.
Discovering self. It's about realizing how fully loaded people are, and that you don't come with something and missing. Nothing is missing, nothing is broken. It's just you unveiling it. And the coach provides the space for you to think, to see the greatness actually, accept and embrace and own that greatness, and then unleash it to the world. Yeah.